Hey guys, Tony here. Back again to do another recent vinyl editions video. It's been a little while since I've done one, and I'm really behind as a result, but I did pull out a nice stack here to show, and I have an even bigger stack to go. So hopefully I'll make another one of these videos sooner than later, but all in some really awesome finds, some real amazing stuff. So, but yeah, hope everybody's well out there. Things are good, you know. It occurred to me recently that I've been making these videos for over 3 years now, and it's kind of crazy when I think about it because I mean, it's so out of character for me to make videos and put them on YouTube, and just the fact that I've been doing them for this long, it's just I never would have thought, to be honest. And when I joined, there were only a handful of people making videos, but I was inspired by those guys to get involved, and it's something I'll never regret doing because since joining, not only is my collection, but my knowledge of music just has increased so much, and I'm always grateful for that. Some of you guys have been with me from the beginning, and I really appreciate that. And you guys have watched my collection just sort of explode, and watched me learn about all these great albums and artists and musicians, and you watch me get a little bit balder and a little bit grayer, but it's all good. It makes me think about how time flies, and it makes me think about Lou Reed. And I was thinking about that, and I should mention that and I made this comment sort of on Facebook, and that Lou Reed and the Velvet Underground have always been just so huge for me in my musical life. Like, the first band I got into was The Doors, and through that, right at the same time, I discovered the Velvet Underground, and through the Oliver Stone film, because I had the soundtrack, and there's a couple of Velvet tracks on there. And shortly after, right around that time, I acquired the cassette to the Velvet Underground and Nico, and I still love that album. It's an album that's sort of, in a way, I'm glad I discovered it young, because it's sort of, as my musical tastes have changed and expanded, and how I hear music changed, that album sort of changed too for me, and it's one that there are some things that I listen to now, and I'm like, God, how did I like that? For the most part, that's not the case. But that album specifically is not one that I feel that way about. I still love it. I think it's an incredible album. And Lou Reed's solo work, it's sad the guy's no longer with us, but he created an incredible body of work and really changed rock and roll in a lot of ways, and it's awesome. And 71, it makes me think about Neil Young, of course, too, because if you watch my channel, I'm a massive Neil Young fan, and I may not talk about him as much as I used to, but I still love the guy, and it makes me think he's going to be 68 like this week or something, and it's just like, what the fuck, like, what happened? Like, how did that happen? When did that happen? Like, everybody's getting old, and that's life, I guess. It's kind of scary in a way, but I will be seeing Neil again, though. Everything's last minute with him, but he announces a four-date run at Carnegie Hall, and then the next day tickets go on sale, and I was able to score tickets for one of those nights, and I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be my 20th Neil Young show, and at Carnegie Hall, I think that's going to be really special, so I'm really looking forward to it. But anyway, enough of my rambling. I just wanted to say thank you guys for continuing to watch and all that. It's been interesting. So yeah, VCLT. That's what I got. First up, there's another sort of another package I want to show, but I'm going to save it for in my next video. But I received some VCLT from Mr. Ben Costello. Ben is a VC member, but he doesn't make videos. Although, Ben, you really should. You got a great collection. But yeah, me and Ben have been in contact, and he let me know, how much he appreciates my videos and wanted to send me something. Which, Ben, I'm really grateful. Thank you so much for taking the time and the expense of doing this. Like, he put thought into it, and I really appreciate it. It's just incredible. So I got the package like a week or two ago, and he dropped hints about what would be in it, but I didn't know specifics on anything. But let me show what he sent. First, he sent Africa Boombata's Beware, the Funk is Everywhere. So So this is the follow-up to his album Planet Rock. If you don't know Africa Bambaataa, sort of a really early hip-hop guy, break beats and electronic sort of hip-hop. But yeah, incredible stuff. I don't have any of his other work, but I am familiar with some of his stuff, and really cool to get this, Ben. This is a really cool album as well. He does a cover of "Kick Out the Jams," which is actually produced by Bill Laswell. But then "What Time Is It" is also great, and Bambaata's theme and "Funk You," and just a cool album. This is from 1986 on Tommy Boy Records. Very cool. Thank you so much, Ben. And then this one here. He dropped hints about this one and what artist it was, and mentioned that it was new, but I didn't know there was anything new coming out, and I actually searched and still couldn't find anything, so this was a real surprise. And when I opened the package and saw this, I just knew by looking at it that it was going to be special, and it really is. And it's a live album. They recently unearthed tapes of a live performance by John Martin, and this is John Martin live at the Hanging Lamp, May 8th, 1972. So yeah, this is incredible. Really limited press, 1,000 only. I have number 691 of 1,000. Excellent performance. Really just intimate, nice. If you don't know John Martin, he was sort of a contemporary of Nick Drake, both on Island Records about the same time. I think they were friendly, but also there was sort of a little rivalry thing going on between them. But John Martin is just an incredibly talented folk musician who incorporated other sort of genres within his music, and specifically, I think, sort of a jazzy or folk sound. But yeah, this is him solo, and it's just awesome. Really nice. The pressing, it's nice textured cover. Sounds fantastic. Here's the inner sleeve, and they recreated the original Pink Rimmed Island label, which is awesome. And just a really nice album. And if you're a fan of John Martin and don't know about this, I suggest tracking it down. It's a really good album. So thank you, Ben. And to top it all off, he let me know he was seeing this artist live, which he knows I'm a big fan of this guy, and this just blew me away. Roy Harper. And this is a CD of The Dream Society, and it's autographed. He got it autographed by Roy Harper, which for me is awesome, just to have the guy's autograph. And I love Roy Harper. I really wish he would tour in the States. I'd love to see the guy, but yeah. Really cool CD as well. One from last few years, I guess. It is. I'm not exactly sure of the year, but really nice folk album by Roy Harper, folk rock, and really good. And yeah, just that autograph just blows me away. So Ben, thank you again, man. I so appreciate it, really. I'm gonna cherish this stuff, and very cool. So thank you. Hope to get you back sometime and make videos, man, for real. So let me get started showing you what else I pulled out. I'll start with this. Figure why this was free now, and you'll see why. It's beat. The cover is beat. The records are actually really nice. Play surprisingly well, and this will do for now until I could find a copy of this, because I just can't find this. When it does show up online, it's expensive. It's pretty sought after, I guess. So, and it's a fantastic record, but the cover is shot, and it was free. Nothing really to brag about, I guess. But yeah, this is the Tony Williams Lifetime, their album Emergency. Now you see how beat this is. It's splits, and the thing's just fucked. But the records are actually really nice and play really well. No problems at all on Polydor. Jazz fusion, fantastic. One of the best jazz drummers there is, Tony Williams, but also John McLaughlin on guitar and Larry Williams. Larry Young on keyboard. Great album, and I really want to find a good copy of this. So if anyone knows of one, let me know. But incredible record, and really glad to get this. It was in the dollar bin, and they just sort of threw it in, just take it. But it plays fine, and it'll do for now. At least I can listen to it, A couple things, originals to replace reissues. First up is an original copy of Terry Riley's A Rainbow in Curved Air. All of these I have more recent reissues of, but I'll use those for either sell them or pass them on for VCLT or trades and whatever. But yeah, Terry Riley, A Rainbow and Curved Air, for $8 in beautiful shape, like just about near mint, really. Fantastic, a classic minimalist album, and one to check out from 1969. Also, I just did a video on this artist, and I mentioned this album, and I thought to myself shortly after, I'd really love to find an original copy of this album because I only have the recent reissue, and yeah, I thought I really want an original, and wouldn't you know it, a day or two later, this comes into my local store, and I just happened to be there. John Cale's Paris 1919, an original promo copy. This is John Cale's masterpiece, in my opinion. Fantastic record, and it is a white label promo on Reprise. Just awesome, and again, just pretty much near mint shape, just gorgeous shape, and really happy to get that as an insert. The lyrics. So, really happy to find that from 1972. One of John Cale's probably considered like one of his most accessible albums, but also just one of his greatest, and really happy to score that. And finally, this was hanging on the wall at a local store, and again, I have a recent reissue, but I saw this, and I didn't get it right away. I went back for it. I figured it would be gone. It hadn't been there that long. Figured it would be gone, but it was still there, and I bought it. I got it for a great price, pretty much because the radio station puts stickers and notes on it. It's a promo copy of Captain Beefheart's Lick My Decals Off Baby. Promo copy. And yeah, awesome. I love this album. It had been a while since I'd listened to it. White label, on the straight label. Excellent. So yeah, it'd been a while since I've heard it, and if, as you know, if you watch this channel, I've gotten into a lot of like freer music, free jazz, and avant-garde stuff, and I gotta say that I probably wouldn't feel the way I do about this album if I hadn't listened to all that stuff. But I put it on again, and I was just blown away by it. You know, this is probably Beefheart's most out there album. It's probably even more out there than Trout Mask Replica. But there's also this playfulness about it, and it's just an awesome album. And glad to score this. Now, the radio station, wherever it came from, put a note on it, which I want to read. It's funny. Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band, Lick My Decals Off Baby. Very hard for most people to get into. Try cut just to see if you can make sense of it, or nonsense, as may be the case. Any cut, thanks. So, yeah, very cool. Promo. Captain Beefheart. Alright, now I'll try and run through these as quick as I can. I've already been talking for a while. I picked up 2 of the reissues by Boards of Canada. Of course, Music Has a Right to Children. Beautiful reissues. I'm really happy with these. I've heard varying things about them, but all I can say is that I'm really happy with them. I like them a lot. Great electronic, IDM classics. I love this stuff, but I probably would not have spent the money for originals, so I'm really glad they reissued them. And I also picked up this one I was not familiar with at all, Gio Gotti by Boards of Canada. 3 LP set. Again, beautifully done. I couldn't be happier. So yeah, those are the only 2 I grabbed. And yeah, excellent stuff. Moving on, I picked this up a while ago now, but it's excellent. Bird Songs of the Mesozoic. So this is a band that was sort of a side band for Roger Miller and Martin Swoop of Mission of Burma. And after Mission of Burma broke up, they sort of focused on this, but it's sort of progressive, like it's almost rock in opposition. It's sort of experimental chamber music mixed with rock, so along the lines of, it's actually considered rock in opposition. So out of Boston. But yeah, Martin Swoop and Roger Miller from Mission of Burma, this is their band. On Ace of Hearts, an original. This is their debut EP, if I failed to mention that, from 1983. So, really happy to score this. There's a couple things in here that I heard in my local store, and heard it, and I was like, oh, I gotta get that. Like, I was blown away. I was like, what is this? And this is one of them. This is Ensemble Economic, and this is by I believe his name is Brian Pyle, if I'm not mistaken. This is his stuff, electronic, very krautrock-ish. That's what I thought. So sort of moody, krautrocky, industrial sort of sounding stuff, and really, really good. This is their most recent album. They got a few things. He has a few things. But this is from 2013. This is called The Vastness is Bearable Only Through Love. Highly recommended. It's on the Shelter label. And yeah, Ensemble Economic. Excellent stuff. This one I picked up just as soon as it came out and really happy with it. Sea Feels Keek from 1993, but just reissued on the Modern Classics recordings. So yeah, English band, electronic. It's called electronic, sort of crossed with shoegaze, and I hear that. It's called like the missing link between My Bloody Valentine and Aphex Twin, and I definitely hear where that is. Mostly electronic, but definitely has a shoegaze sort of sound going on. And this is a classic. Modern Classics recordings are, they reissue things that are like mostly from the 90s that are just, never came out on vinyl, or when they did, they're super rare and expensive. And so yeah, really nice reissue. Happy to get that. And another one, heard this in the store as well, and I was like, what is this, And probably one of my favorites from this year. And this is by Four Swords, which is Matt Barnes, I believe his name is. And this is their debut full-length engravings. Incredible, again, electronic with sort of dub, R&B sort of feel to it with electronics, ambient, moody electronics going on. And it's just incredible. On the Triangle label, highly, highly recommend this. If that sounds like your thing, really enjoying this. So, engraving, Four Swords with engravings. Well, here's the soundtrack, and again, I heard this in the store a lot. This came out for Cassette Store Day. It was reissued, and I wasn't going to buy the cassette, but I heard it a lot in Red Scroll, my local store. They were playing it for a while, and I couldn't wait for the vinyl to come out, and it just recently did, and that is the soundtrack to the film Last House on the Left, the Wes Craven classic from 1972. So really cool. If you know this movie, they also just redid it, but interesting soundtrack and story. It's all done by, his name is David Alexander Hess, and he was also the actor in the movie. He played the main villain, Krug, I believe his name is. I believe that's what his name was, Krug. He played the main villain, but he also did the soundtrack to the film, and really talented guy. He started out in the music business and was the first guy to record the song All Shook Up, which was a hit for Elvis, But he recorded it first. He didn't write it, but he did also write a lot of songs and wrote songs for Elvis and a few other things, but became an actor, so sort of like he felt it would sort of help his music career, really. And he did this, and some great songs. It's a soundtrack. It's really varied. There's sort of really nice folk songs. There's some ballads. There's some really zanier sort of things for the slapstick in the movie. If you've never seen the original Last House on the Left, you should watch it. It's interesting for a horror movie. It's it's disturbing, but still like sort of strange. There's a lot of different elements going on in the way they put the music to the movie, like inappropriate music for the scene. It's interesting, but and there's also some experimental sort of sound collages and eerie sort of sound things going on here. It's a horror movie, so. But check out the track "Wait for the Rain" from this. It's just a beautiful folk song, really. This is awesome. I also highly recommend this. Reissued by One Way Static, which is also Light in the Attic reissue, one of their labels. So, and again, beautifully done. Was really excited about this, and it's excellent. I also picked up Flora Purnam, her album Butterfly Dreams. Now, she's a Brazilian jazz singer, really, and this is a jazz fusion album. It's excellent. Probably her best album. And if you listen to this lineup, Joe Henderson, Airto Moreira, which was her husband, by the way, Airto, Stanley Clarke, George Duke, David Emero, and Ernie Hood. Phenomenal album on Milestone for this was 12, in beautiful shape. Just besides the writing there, but really nice album. Glad I picked it up. Excuse me for a minute. flip this over. Alright, sorry about that. Moving on. Another new album. This is the second album by this band. Band members from the States and I believe New Zealand. And that is Unknown Mortal Orchestra with their album 2, their second album. Really, really good stuff. Sort of neo-psychedelic pop rock, if you will. Definitely some poppier elements going on here, but very psychedelic and just excellent. Was really pleasantly surprised by this and happy to get it. I picked up a copy of the Fugs' first album. This is an Italian pressing of this. It's on the Bass Records, ESP Bass Records, pressed in Italy. Different cover, but yeah, I mean, I see the Fugs that I don't have and I grab it. Fugs are interesting and really interesting group. Some of their stuff I'm like, I don't really like a lot, but a lot of it I do, and this is pretty good. I mean, psychedelic, sort of political, zany, it's really interesting stuff, the Fugs, for $7 too. This is Italian press, so happy to get it. And Frank Zappa and the Mothers album, early stuff, that one I did not have. I mean, you see this often, but the Mothers live at the Fillmore, 1971. It was $6, and I hadn't picked it up yet, so excellent performance. I love the Mothers early stuff. Just I've talked about it before. A really nice jazz album. Duets. Charlie Hayden duets with Closeness. This is on the Horizon label. The same label that Don Cherry's Brown Rice came out on, this label here. So yeah, he's doing duets with Ornette Coleman, Alice Coltrane, Keith Jarrett, and Paul Motan. Really nice, just spiritual sort of stuff. For the most part, just a nice jazz album, and was really happy to get it. Charlie Hayden, of course, the bass player, probably mostly known for his work, but also working with Ornette Coleman on all those early albums. Excellent stuff, so happy to get that. Excuse me. Here's one that was in my local store for a while, and I listened to it in the store a couple times and passed on it a couple times, and finally one day I picked it up and listened to it and listened to the second side, and I'm like, all right, I'm getting this, and this is Neiman with Enigmatic. So this is a Polish sort of jazz rock album. He's a keyboard player, and it opens up with this sort of really like atmospheric, churchy sounding organ on the first side. But in the second side, it really opens up more, and it's more of a rock sort of thing, a jazzier rock album, progressive. Polish. This is an original Polish press on the Muza label, and it's in really nice shape. Somewhere on the cover, really thin cover here, but yeah, happy to get it. I mean, it blew me away. It took a little while to get into, but glad I got it. It was $7 or whatever, so excellent stuff. At times it reminded me of like Joe Cocker at Woodstock, that sort of sound at times, but it's excellent. Really happy to get it. I think it's also considered the best Polish rock album, like one of the best-selling Polish rock albums ever, so excellent. Reissue of now this reissue label, Superior Viaduct, they put out some excellent reissues, really nice quality, and this was one of them. So this is Heldon's Interface, I believe their 6th album. Progressive rock, electronic. Richard Pennas, this is his band, so, sort of his thing. One of their more rockier albums, more progressive sounding, prog albums, and from 1977, I want to say. But yeah, excellent stuff, Interface, and a beautiful reissue. Was really happy with how it was done. It sounds phenomenal. Nice heavy cardboard, really nice sheen to the album, and yeah, Superior Viaduct. That's the. They're also reissuing some stuff that I'm actually real excited about. So, and I got another one on Superior Viaduct as well, which I might as well show now, and that is the debut album by Sensations Fix. Fragments of Light, fantastic stuff, really excellent. Again, really nicely done too. Sensations Fix is mostly the idea of Franco Felicini, Italian considered Italian prog. I believe he came to the States and recorded this, or got his band going or something. There's something to that. From 1974, again, early electronics going on, but an incredible record, really. Maybe not as cohesive as what came after, but still fantastic record. Definitely check it out if you don't know it. I'm trying to think of the tracks that stood out. I mean, the Fragments of Light, that track is excellent, but Do You Love Me, also a really good one. But yeah, just check it out. Sensations Fix, really nice reissue on Superior Viaduct. Here's one that just blew me away. It's sort of like it's a new album, and it's sort of like it's sort of like a modern Soft Machine, so like proggy psychedelic jazz, and it's pronounced Psycho Magia. Excellent record. This is on the what is the label? The El Parasio, however you say that. The Impetus series, number 8. Incredible. I believe these guys are made up of different bands based in California, I think these guys are, if I'm not mistaken. But mastered by Jonas Monk, which I believe this is his label. Yeah, pronounced Psycho Magia, which is a Spanish word. And incredible. Highly recommend this. Yeah, excellent stuff. Really happy to get this. Here is a sort of a Latin folk album. This musician is from Uruguay, however you say it. And his name is Eduardo Mateo. And this is probably his most well-known album, Mateo Solo Ben Silame, however you say that. Really nice folk album. Took a chance on it. Just read the hype sticker. It sounded like I'd like it, and I do. It's a really nice Latin folk album. Let me read you a bit of the hype sticker, if you don't mind. Lifting, poetic, intimate, and in turns life-affirming and melancholic. With pulsating percussion backed by unheard-of guitar chords and tunings. Perhaps the reason for the frequent Caetano Veloso, Nick Drake comparisons. An album that sounds, simply put, honest. Recorded at the end of 1972. Great album. Really nice folk album. Excuse me. Another Italian prog album. I want to say this is like their 3rd album. Their first that was sort of a hit outside of Italy. In their first English language album, and that is PFM, Photos of Ghosts. I found this for really cheap and on the Manicore label. Excellent Italian prog. I mean, progressive rock. I believe the lyrics were all written by what's his name, Pete Seinfeld. Pete Seinfeld from who did King Crimson's lyrics. But yeah, PFM, Photos of Ghosts, excellent. I picked up a Mary Lou Williams record. I have another one actually to show in my next video, but I scored this for $3. Mary Lou Williams is a jazz pianist, and she was like a contemporary of Thelonious Monk, Charlie Parker, and born in like 1910. Has an incredible body of work. I could listen to her play piano all day, literally. It's just really nice, soulful jazz piano, and she is just something else. And this is Mary Lou Williams live at the Cookery. Let me think of the year. I think in the 70s, I think. But yeah, again, she was around for a long time and was recorded with and was a mentor to, an endless list of jazz musicians. And she is just incredible. There's a split on the cover on the top, but other than that, it's beautiful. And for $3, I was not going to leave it at the store. So Mary Lou Williams live at the Cookery, excellent. Another jazz album, and for fans of the Headhunters, they only recorded just a little bit of music, really. Well, this is basically the Headhunters. Eddie Henderson with Realization. Fantastic jazz fusion from 1973. Jazz funk, jazz fusion on the Capricorn label. So yeah, I mean, you have Eddie Henderson, of course, Benny Maupin, Herbie Hancock, Lenny White, Pat Gleason, Buster Williams, and Billy Hart. I mean, just really excellent stuff. If you like the Headhunters, Herbie Hancock, do get this. I'd never seen it before, so I grabbed it. Excellent. Finally, here's one more. Actually, hold on. And another jazz album that, again, these next two actually, 2 more originals to replace reissues. And I found this, an original pressing of Sonny Chiroc's Monkey Pocky Boo. Actual number 37, Free Jazz. I have the reissue of this, but I saw the original, and I never see original Actual, so I grabbed it. Avant-Garde. If you know his album Black Woman, it's along those lines. I can't help but compare it to like Yoko Ono with the vocals, but awesome, just an awesome album, and really glad to get this near mint shape too. And finally, this is like something of a grail for me because I've wanted an original of this album for so long, and I wouldn't think it'd be so hard to get it, but it's just one of those albums that it seems like people just don't sell it. They don't let it go. And this album is definitely in my like top 10 of all time. An album I've known about for a long time since I was a teenager. I have the reissue. Came across this. I went to a record show on a very limited budget. I only walked out with a few things, but this is one of them. And I could not be happier to finally score an original press of Television's Marquee Moon. Oh, you don't even know. Like I was just elated to get this. Now, it's a funny story too. Like at the table at this show, the guy had it marked for $80, and I picked it up, and I was he heard me. Like I didn't mean to. I picked it up and I saw the price, and I was just like, I saw it. I was excited, and I saw the price. He let it go for $40, which I thought was fair considering what it goes for online, and it's in really nice condition. I mean, a little bit of wear on the cover. Now, he also told me that this seller was from New Jersey, and he said he had tried to sell it down in New Jersey. So it didn't sell, obviously, and somebody saw it, picked it up, and said, "Oh, it's the record by my friend." He's like, "Oh, yeah, who's your friend?" And he says, "Oh, Richard Lloyd." And apparently the story is the guy called Richard Lloyd right then and there and had him confirm that this was an original copy. I don't know how much I believe that, but it is an original. It's on the Butterfly Electra label. But yeah, he said he talked to Richard Lloyd on the phone, described the record to him and everything, and Richard Lloyd confirmed it was a first press. But yeah, anyway, just such a great album. Again, one of the greatest albums ever in my personal top 10. Has the inner sleeve, and you have the original Butterfly Electra label. So really happy to get this. But anyway, so that's it, guys. That's what I got to show for today. I have a lot more to show. In fact, if you could see that pile right there, that's still what I have to show. And it's actually bigger than it looks on the screen. But yeah, so some real excellent stuff coming up. And I'll be showing that soon. So anyway, thank you for watching. Of course, this took longer than I had planned, but leave me comments, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.